Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, roadtoruhr.com. So much going on. It is freaking insane. Freaking insane. Today is Wednesday, which means it's a whole new week for the silver market riggers. They know they're tracked now. Ted Butler tracked them for, I don't even know how long, 40, 50 years. Rest in peace, Ted. Great guy, amazing intellect. Saw right through the criminals back in the early 80s when he was challenged by his mentor to say, hey, why is the price of silver going down when all the signs say it should be going up? So he spent his whole life doing that. Recently passed away. We do miss his analysis of the Commitment of Traders report, but we know how he did it now. It's all about the moving averages. It's all about the handful, probably 4 maximum or minimum, 8 max, that control the entire silver market. And they collude together, as I've pointed out, through a company called Virtu Financial, run by Vinny Viola. Used to be EWT LLC. They are absolutely the number one high-frequency trading company on the planet. And they collude together to set the price of silver. Yes. And through the control, there is some control by the U.S. government, but most of this is done by the banks and the Fed and the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which is theoretically an official market stabilizer, shall we say, for the U.S. government. They can do whatever they want. They can click a mouse and dump 1 million electronic silver derivatives, or 1 billion electronic silver derivatives, or 1 trillion electronic silver derivatives. Doesn't matter. These are fake markets. We live in a fake world. Having said that, how are we going to get through what is coming down the pike? Less than 90 days now until the election. All this is going to go down before the election, by the way. You better have your physical silver in your own possession. No ETFs, no mining companies. Oh my God. You will lose so badly on mining companies. Not because they're not valuable. The problem is they're too valuable. You know, as soon as the derivative bubble melts, every country is going to put its arms around its borders and say, okay, what do we have? Mexico, for example, where there's a lot of silver mining companies, will say, no way are we going to give this. This is our money. We're going to use this as money. We're not going to keep giving it away to foreigners. There'll be no exports. It was very clear in the Road to Ruhr documents that I found at the Fed back in, wow, it's been so long now, January 1st, 2007, that I found the documents showing exactly what's going on. Computer market rigging invented by Alan Greenspan in the early 1970s. First, they invented the electronic banking system. Then they invented the electronic rigging system run out of the Fed, Fed New York, in the basement of the U.S. Treasury, the trading floor. If you followed the Road to Ruhr long enough, you already know this. Anyway, let's get to what's going on right now. Right now, the big bank shorts are trying desperately to get out of their shorts. They're doing a decent job, but they always hit a point where nobody's willing to take over their short position. So they have to close it out, shut out the contract. Usually they did it as they go under the 100 and 200-day moving averages. Now, they're well under the 100-day moving average, so it's true, they have been closing out. I think they're up to, let's see here, last week was about 5 million ounces of closeouts. The week before was 15, I think, so 20 million ounces of closeouts in the last couple of weeks. They'll close out more this week. But they'll hit a point where they'll stop because there's no one else to take the short position. They either have to close out the position, which is just buying the contracts or delivering, or they got to find someone to take their place. But yeah, as from the declining open interest, they are actually doing both. So they are closing out positions at a loss, which is great because that makes them look like idiots. But they're also having to go back. That's why we have volatility in silver. They have to go back and buy back that short position on the COMEX. Now, it's not like there's 1 million traders over here and 1 million traders over here, and we have a free market trading back and forth, or even thousands or even hundreds. This is not, the COMEX is not that kind of market. we have a group of 8 or less over here, and we got a group of maybe 500 or 1,000 over here. That's the kind of market it is. Easy to manipulate, but at some point, to close out your short, you got to have somebody willing to take that short over or deliver. And the banks don't want to deliver, trust me. As a matter of fact, they are having to deliver, and I'll show you where I see that. So the CFTC's COT, Commitment of Traders Report. Again, we have right here, we have these two sections, the producer and the swap dealers will give you, I have these numbers. I think I read them the other day. The commercials got rid of 17 million shorts for the week prior to this one. Now, this week, the week ends on Tuesday for the reporting, and then the numbers are reported on Friday. So we did have a slam in silver, so that means the commercials probably got out of more shorts. My guess is probably similar, maybe a little more. I'm going for 20 million. Now, I'm guessing, this is our net ounces, net short for the commercials. I'm guessing it ended yesterday. I know, it's a pain in the ass. And this is why Ted was so good at it. He could explain it so well. But my guess is 20 million ounce decrease in the commercial short for the week that ended yesterday. Now, we're in a new week of reporting. So right now, it could go either way. Because today, it's just choppy. But it's usually tomorrow that they'll show their hand. I think they're going to try to slam it under the moving averages. Now, so if you're asking where's that, Bix? Well, the 200-day moving average is currently at $26.07. That's that blue line right here. See, they've gotten past the 100-day, and they've closed out since then. Maybe so. This is 30 million ounces, 25, 30 million ounces. I'd have to go back and check it. If they get this one, they'll get some more probably, but then there's nothing left under that. Once they go under the 200-day, it's like, oh my God, there's nobody willing to take my shorts. I better cover these quickly, and every cover they do. That's why the jump ups are so fast in silver. And the down, they'll just slam it and slam it and slam it. Completely illegal, completely run by the high-frequency traders at Virtu Financial, working for JP Morgan, HSBC, Citibank, Bank of America, all the big rigger banks, and the U.S. Treasury, and the Federal Reserve. This is not a secret anymore. Everybody knows. Everybody knows the dice are loaded. All right. On a more interesting note, if you look at the volume traded last Friday, 140,000 contracts, just to give you an idea just how rigged these markets are. 140,000 contracts was the volume on Friday. One day, a single day, 5,000 per contract. 700 million ounces traded of electronic silver to rig the price on Friday. 700 million. We only mine, 800 million in a year. So that's the kind of criminality that the CFTC, which is the regulator, and the Fed regulates the banks, mind you. These banks are playing with fire. Any bank that's short silver, which is a handful, HSBC, probably the biggest one right now. JP Morgan, who knows what they're doing. They are the largest player by far. But I think they use the SLV inventories and saying, hey, I'm not naked short. I have to hedge my position. You're not the owner, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon. You're not the owner of SLV Silver. You're the custodian. You should not be in the silver market at all. They already got fined close to $1 billion for rigging the silver market and gold market and the treasury market. Why are they still allowed to trade? Oh, by the way, they got fined $920 million, and that very same year in precious metals, they booked a $1 billion gain, 10 times what they had booked every single year, over 10 times, or not a little less. 10 to $20 million is their annual quote gain on precious metal trading. And this all came out during the trials of the people who ran the trading department. The guy who was clicking his mouse, bam, 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 bam. That was a lie. He wasn't clicking his mouse. It was already programmed in months ahead of time. This is a con. We are living in a fictitious world with fictitious people running our country. But you're paying real taxes, And we're really going to war pretty soon. I'll get to that in 1 second. They're running out of time. They got to either pull the plug on the financial system, but they need an excuse. I think by September, I've been saying September for over a year now. By September, they're going to pull the plug. And what does that mean? It means, I don't know. They could destroy, either side could destroy each other. The criminal silver cabal is in deep trouble. And the end of the fiscal year for the United States of America is the end of September. September 11th is coming up. September 11th, 2028 was the last time they really tried to end the game. And as Senator Ken Jaworski told us, they were literally hours away from everything stopping. It's not, if you're short now and waiting to cover and pick up cryptos on the slide, you're not going to be able to. There will be no markets open when the banks crash. You're not going to know the price of gold, silver, or cryptos. You won't know. That's how big this is. That when the bubble is popped, the derivative bubble, $2 to $3 quadrillion worth of derivatives that hold this bullshit together, it's over. It's over, and it will never start again. Not in the form that it was. Now, Cliff High's data said that the government goes to Reggie Middleton and says, yeah, we screwed up. There was a lot of high-frequency trading, rehypothecation of assets. We can start again, though, and if you allow us to use the patent that we gave you for peer-to-peer transactions, we can implement that in the stock market, the bond market, the commodity markets, and have a peer-to-peer transactions instead of getting JP Morgan and Fidelity and all these huge criminal banks in the middle of it. Will it happen? That's a long shot, absolutely. But if it does, Veritasium holders will be very happy, obviously. It'll be I've been saying, it's like a lottery ticket. It either happens or it doesn't. But there's a lot of science that says it might actually happen, especially when they granted Reggie his patents. First they steal all his money, and then for his idea that they say was what did they said he was selling he was saying, this is software. This is software that I'm selling. I'm pre-selling software. It's just like buying a Microsoft license. He was selling licenses, not cryptos. Veritasium is access to his proprietary information, his proprietary patents on peer-to-peer transactions. I mean, it back then, he was saying that nobody really understood what he said. They thought he was just stealing money and another ICO of worthless type of crypto. No, it wasn't anything like that. And the U.S. Patent Office, they literally approved his patent for peer-to-peer transactions. So somebody's wrong, and it ain't Reggie, and it ain't the Patent Office. It's the criminals at the SEC and the CFTC and at the U.S. government, in my opinion. But there's something bigger than Veritasium that I think I've been screaming about Theta for so long, and I'll get to that 1 second. I just want to go one more thing here. Exchange for physical. This is where, so next month, September, is a delivery month for silver on the COMEX. It's kind of been muted in the last couple of years because they literally are, they used to deliver 70, 80 million ounces on the COMEX on the best delivery months ever. On average, there were like 40 million ounces. Now it's almost nothing because that's not how the delivery mechanism works anymore. What they do now is this thing's called exchange for physical, right down here, EFP. That means you take your COMEX contract and you send it over to London for physical delivery. That way people don't know how much silver is really going out the door. And it's a lot, my friends. It is a lot. So we're literally, August is the month before delivery month, and this has happened before. If the EFPs are going crazy, meaning nobody thinks they're going to have the silver to deliver in September. So what do? You send the contract over to London to have it delivered in August. And that's what people are doing right now. As a matter of fact, the EFPs are off the charts. So this EFP right here for Tuesday was, would be a little over 6 million ounces in a single day. Requests for delivery of 6 million ounces in a single day. So far in August, Harvey Organ, blog.com tracks this. It's 39 plus the 6 is 45 million ounces in the first 6 days of August. This could be the biggest delivery month ever for EFPs. Exchange traded ETPs. EFPs. Exchange for physicals. This is massive. If it keeps going like this, I mean, let's look back in time. Here's one for 135. Well, if we're at 6 days, which is what, 1/5 of the month. So you take 45 times 45 million. If it stays on this track, times 5, you're looking at 225 million ounces will be demanded for delivery in London. 225 million ounces for delivery. I think that would be the highest. Here's a 161. That's pretty high. Let's go back in time. These are monthly per year, or monthly per year. 171, second highest on record. We're right now on track for 225 million ounces. 171, and what was the biggest? Wait, what was that? Oh my God! Look, it was August again. It was August again. So this is a pattern. This is August, right before the big delivery month of September. They know they can't get it in September, so they take their contracts and they send them over to London. I want to find the biggest so far. 134. 207. There it is. 207 million ounces in March of 2022. That's a big number. And we're on track for 225. So will the system stay together long enough for all this stuff to get delivered? Who knows? It could blow any minute, any moment. Cliff High saying mid-August, which is next week, my friends, is another chaotic moment. Just as chaotic as when they shot Trump last month, which Cliff nailed again. A lot of emotional drama coming July, right around July 15th. And he predicted that years ago. And now he's saying he's seeing the same thing in his data or similar, not the same thing, something gigantic in mid-August. I think September is like the D-Day for silver. And silver, the way the bad guys might be taken out, it might be minus $40 silver. I don't know. They did it with oil. They had minus $40 oil. It just proves to you that these markets are a sham. They're a con. You need the physical stuff out of anybody's possession. You need your cryptos, obviously, out of everybody's possession, in your own possession. Learn how to do it. Learn how to do it. At the private road at Road to Ruta, we have a whole page about Theta. And I'll get to that in 1 second because that is going to be the number one crypto. I think it's going to be bigger than Veritasium and bigger than Bitcoin. You heard it here first. And this goes way back. And when we first bought Theta on the Road to Ruta, it was like, oh, Michelle White-Dove said, yeah, Theta, Dick Allgaier. First thing he heard about cryptos instantly came in his mind, Theta. And then you do the research, and we've grown with this company. It started out as well, I'll get to it in 1 second. Anyway, for silver, go to your local coin shop, get as much physical silver as you can, because that's going to be the missing link. I don't know what the price is going to be a year from now. Nobody does. I think the drama that happens over the next few months, I think the comics will shut down and claim force majeure, which means, there's a war going on. There's a war going on, so none of these contracts are real. And this is how the bankers get out of shit like this. They create wars. So I think that's coming. And there's signs of it everywhere. For example, Xi Jinping turns China into a fortress economy to withstand external shocks. In a strategic pivot designed to safeguard China's economic stability amid escalating global uncertainties, Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping is advancing an economic model aimed at bolstering national self-sufficiency and reliance. Well, here's the thing about China. If you've been on the Road to Ruta, I've said this for a very long time, that Trump, Putin, and Xi of China got together when Trump was president and said, hey, we're going to take these assholes out. Trump said, I'll be the bad guy first. Putin said, I'll be the bad guy second. And Xi is going to be the bad guy third. This is the ultimate end game. This is China shutting their borders. This is China shutting off the number one most important spot on the planet these days. More important than any other place on the planet is Taiwan. You might be saying, what do you mean Taiwan? Why is that so important? I just read this book. Actually, I listened to it on Audible. It's called Chip War by Chris Miller. Read the book. Listen to the audio. It tells you why the semiconductor industry is so highly concentrated in Taiwan. How did that happen? And why is it so important? What would happen today? We got a glimpse of what would happen during COVID when the chip making kind of slowed to a crawl. And all of a sudden, you couldn't buy a car. You couldn't buy anything. It was insane. Every country's like, oh my God, we're relying so much on China and Taiwan, the chip-making capital of the world. As a matter of fact, Taiwan's dominance of the chip industry makes it more important. Listen to this. Taiwan produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and over 90% of the most advanced ones. Most are manufactured by a single company, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. If you read this book, you're going to know all about TMSC. So I think she is going to finally envelop Taiwan. Hopefully it doesn't come to blowing up fabs. These are multi-$100 billion fab facilities that cannot be replicated in the amount of time that we would want to have our chips. Have our chips and eat them too. No more chips and salsa. The reality of the death grip that this situation in Taiwan and chip manufacturing has on the entire globe is really shocking. And it's shocking that the U.S. has allowed this to happen, that something so key to literally everything we do, the manufacturing of computer chips, 90% for the advanced ones, 90%. You know, this is AI. You take out Taiwan, you take out AI for 10 years. Almost. There is a solution, which people have no idea about today. Google knows about it. Samsung knows about it. Sony knows about it. It is Theta. Okay, walk with me here. So, right now, Supermicro traders on shocking margin collapse despite euphoric revenue guidance, 10-to-1 split. More bad news for the slowly bursting AI bubble. Shares of server maker Supermicro Computer, which have been among the biggest beneficiaries of the AI euphoria over the past 2 years as it emerged as a proxy for AI demand, servers and installs, soared as much as 16% before crashing 10% after the company reported second quarter revenue, blah, 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 blah. It's all about the chip wars. Gotta read this book, The Chip Wars. If or when China goes into Taiwan, I hope it's not they're going to do it. And I think it was planned long before what's going on now, long before the Biden administration. They're going to go in there, and hopefully it's peaceful, because China can easily take out Taiwan, even if we sit there and say, hey, we're gonna stop you. You think Joe Biden or Kamala Harris can do anything? No. Sorry for the jab, but she is just vile. Same with Joe. Vile human being. I feel sorry for the fact that he's old and decrepit, but he mentally left years ago. And for the fake media to say, oh my God, it was the debate that really showed his craziness. Where have you been? I mean, the guy's been declining for over a decade. And what he's done to kids and stuff, he needs to be taken out. I think he might have already been taken out. But what a perfect time for China to say, okay, we've been talking about this for how long? Forever. Of taking over, retaking Taiwan, and now we're going to do it. They can't do it when Trump gets in. Trump won't let them. But I think they have a plan behind the scenes anyway. It's not like Trump's going to get in, the economy's going to crash, and China's going to start war with the United States of America. No. All this is going to happen in the next 90 days on the crazy Democrat watch. I mean, it might be a big lesson as to why we need strong leadership in the United States of America. Strong leadership, not crazy cackling Kamala. So I think they played their hand. The Democrat, deep state, whatever you want to call them, played their hand too soon. People have too much time to figure out who she actually is. She's nothing. She's a communist slash socialist slash bimbo. You listen to the reports of people who worked for her in the White House. They're like, she's freaking crazy. Everybody hated her. She's too dumb to be anything else. Anyway. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at what happens if Taiwan is taken out. Not taken out. If they took it out, we're fucked. We're screwed. No cars, no cell phones, no AI. The electronic future, it will be taken 10 years back. So we'll go back to 2014, because that's how long it would take to rebuild the semiconductor industry if that's taken out. And billions and trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. We are so dependent on it, on everything. You look around, anything electronic has microchips in it. Regular cars, everybody's like, oh, no, electric cars will go down, but I can still drive my regular gas guzzling car. No, you cannot. Everything, there's so many sensors in a car. And just to make the gasoline, you need chips to make the gasoline in the factories. Our whole world is run off computer chips now. And you take the company that makes 90% of the highest quality chips out of the equation. I don't know if it's worse than, like a COVID. Well, yeah, it is. It's much worse than COVID. Hell of a lot more people will die. We don't know how many died really with COVID. They lied so much. But, yeah, a lot of people will die if the semiconductors are all of a sudden stopped. But other things can happen. Let's just say China goes into Taiwan and we don't react. We just give them Taiwan, which I think is probably the likely case. And they go in without, blowing up buildings and stuff like that. Maybe a couple isolated strikes. The U.S. doesn't respond because we really can't. And then, voila, China owns Taiwan and runs all the manufacturing capabilities of the world for chips. In that scenario, probably be the best scenario. They'll keep making the chips. They'll do it. It'll be, purely an economic thing. And if, war doesn't break out and they don't blow up these facilities that literally would take over a decade to rebuild, if we could, that would be probably the best case for humanity to move into a high-tech future. If that is not the case, if they blow up these facilities, the entire world will be saying, what can we use? What can we do? That's where Theta comes in. Theta is a technology that allows people to share their microprocessors, to share their hard drives, to share their broadband capabilities. All that stuff would be gone if you take out the chips in Taiwan, the manufacturing facilities. It'll all be gone. But there is a massive amount of available space for sharing. You got your iPhone or your phone. Let's start with Android because that's what goes live on the 25th of September for Theta. You can download, starting the 25th of September, everybody on the planet who has an Android phone could download the Theta Edge node and be sharing their hard drive, sharing their processing power, sharing their broadband capabilities. I think that's why they're going to release this. And I've been saying it, what happens when Theta invents a way to use mobile devices for the Theta network? And you might say, what is the Theta network? Here's what the Theta network is. Theta Network is the leading blockchain-powered decentralized cloud for AI, media, and entertainment. That's what it has grown into. It can be viewed as a dual network consisting of two complementary systems, the Theta Network and the Theta blockchain. The Edge Network provides a vast amount of GPU compute power for AI, video, rendering, and other tasks, while the Theta blockchain provides payments, rewards, and smart contract capabilities. Below, we provide more details for the two components. So yes, it is this. That's why I'm saying Theta is going to be. I think it'll be number one, the number one in market cap cryptocurrency on the planet. Way more useful than Bitcoin, by the way. I mean, Bitcoin's not really useful other than a store of value. And it's a good store of value, yeah. But, as far as use case, by the way, Reggie Middleton has the patent on most of the off-chain stuff that Bitcoin's trying to do. Lightning Network, kind of hard to avoid that. Reggie Middleton's patent is all over that. But that's a different story. Basically, what I'm saying is get your physical silver in your own possession and get your Theta and Theta Fuel. Maybe even T-Drop, but that's later on. I'd say right now Theta Fuel with a 20-to-1 ratio, I think that'll get down to 5-to-1, especially when comes September 25th, if we need it. Now, if we need it, let's just say the semiconductor industry all of a sudden freezes because for whatever reason, either there's a war going on or China says, hey, we're taking it, and there's no war, but there's no chips being made because of the transfer of power. If there's no chips made, there's not much we can do. There's not much we can do. Everything will crawl to a halt other than, oh, by the way, did you hear about this thing Theta? Well, everybody can share the chips with each other. Oh, by the way, you can buy Theta at $1.08. It's just insane. Michelle White Dove have it going into the thousands of dollars. And I think it will. I know it will. I don't know which way. Theta has changed over the years so much. It used to be just, well, we don't need video, content delivery network type of process. Everybody thought it was like the new YouTube. It had nothing to do with YouTube other than the founder of YouTube was on the board, or still is on the board, for Theta. It wasn't related to video. They had a test net, but it was never meant to take YouTube's place at all. YouTube, as a matter of fact, would benefit from using the Theta network to cut down on content delivery costs. And everybody would benefit by implementing Theta all over the planet, whether we're forced to because there's a war and Taiwan chip manufacturing goes offline, or just to add to what we got, because AI obviously needs massive amount of storage, massive amount of computing capacity close to where it's being implemented. And oh, by the way, we need massive amount of more broadband. All of that can be achieved through the Theta Edge node downloaded on your, as of September 25th, on your phone, on your mobile device for Android. And it will come to Apple iPhones as well. I don't think it's a big leap for the guys over at Theta. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense. Right now, I'm buying Theta Fuel. Right now, 53 cents. The problem is, how do you buy it? And that's a problem because they really had been locked out of the United States of America. Binance Japan just introduced Theta. So if you're in Japan, congratulations. You can load up before everybody else loads up. When Theta hits Coinbase, look out above. 330 million people have access to it now. And it will be in the spotlight, I think, before it's added to Coinbase, which just means even more. I think Coinbase is loading up on Theta and Theta Fuel for the introduction of Theta trading on Coinbase. So, how do you do it? You can go to roadtoroot.com. We have a Theta page right here, whole page on how to store, stake, to buy, to store it, and to stake it. Very important. The three aspects: buy it, store it, stake it. We got to have a page on how to do that. Or if you're not on the private road, you can go to affiliates, and you scroll down to Miles Franklin. You get your silver from, by the way. And here's the affiliate link right there at roadtoroot.com under affiliates. But Caleb Brown, that's the one you want for cryptos. Caleb Brown has been helping Road to Root people get Theta and Theta Fuel for a very long time. And people love their service, so go check it out. There's a link there where you can get discounted fees. Again, affiliates, Caleb Brown, Road to Root, right there. And a discussion with Jake Boyle, one of the guys that runs it. And yeah, people have been able to get exposure to Theta through Caleb Brown, even though they're not experts on cryptos. Anyway, that's what I got for you today. Again, you can go to the Private Road Theta page if you want to learn how to buy, store, and stake Theta or Theta Fuel. All right. To do that, just click subscribe today. We're currently giving away on a paper wallet, so you don't have to do anything. 10 Theta, 100 Theta Fuel, and 1,000 T-Drop. Loaded on a paper wallet, mailed to your front door. It's that easy. With every membership. 1-year membership is $2.99, less than $1 a day. And we have a lot of inside scoop on the private road. We'll be talking to Jenny Moonstone tomorrow. Those are always interesting conversations. She's nailed so much of it. So stay tuned. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you.